as you all walk up to the outskirts of Easthaven and you're started to approach the guard tower, you hear from within the snow a little bit of movement, a little bit of shuffle, and a little bit of squeaking as somebody pops up out of the snow. And as their head peeks out, they kind of look to you. Hey, guys, come over here!
I'll go over.
You gonna go into town?
Yes.
Can we follow you? Smuggle
Who's
us
we?
in?
Who's we?
Hey, Scratch! Get everybody to come out! You see as 5 other kobolds kind of poke their heads out of the snow, and they're all kind of staring at you.
Okay, out of game. What is the general feeling towards kobolds in this area? I think that normally people don't like them.
What's your general feeling as 6 kobolds are now basically surrounding you?
My opinion is that they aren't coming to town and we're about to have a little scrap on our hands, lads.
I'm okay with them living and going to town if nobody else cares, but does the town care? Justin?
I mean, probably. I'm going to guess that it's not a good thing if they're hanging around outside town instead of inside town. They're not. There's a reason why they're not in there, and asking if they can just follow us in seems bad. So I'm suspicious as fuck.
Fair. Okay, well, why don't you go into town on your own? Why do you need to follow us?
Spine's unsafe. We had to leave. We need food and shelter. We've got money.
Then why don't you ask the people in town if they'll let you in? I don't see why you need to follow us in.
We just need an in. Foot in the door. It's great sales technique.
Well, then why don't you go into the inn and go and ask there if they'll let you in?
Once we're inside that area, we're already inside of the town. They might just kill us. We just need a little bit of an in. Just bring us in with you. We'll join you.
What makes you think they might kill you? Or because you're from the spawn of the world?
'Cause your fucking kind always kills kobolds. I see
Then
you
you should
grabbing at your knives. You're already thinking about killing us.
You should probably not. And if we
We should not
always
what?
think about killing you, you should go away then if we think about killing you.
Well, we need to live. And we can't live out here.
Well,
It is kind of an inhospitable place, isn't it? Should probably
It's a
start
little
walking
fucking
south.
rough.
it's an absolute
Start walking
shithole.
south. It's warmer.
I can understand your plight.
So is that a no?
Well, how about this instead? We're gonna go into town. We're gonna go to the inn anyway. Why don't we
They're
let them know?
throwing spears at you.
All right, okay.
Okay, well, I guess that we're not going to be friends anymore.
Yeah, I was going to go offer to go into town and speak to the innkeeper and let him know there were some kobolds out there that want to come in and do business, but they're chucking spears, so they ain't got time to hear that shit. Do you want to put our tokens down so I can click it and do initiative where you think we'd be?
You guys can drag your tokens onto the board.
I feel like it's got to be real rough up here for like cold-blooded creatures.
Kobolds are cold-blooded?
Yeah, they're dragons.
Glorified lizards.
I thought they were kind of like goblins.
They're like I think of them as like halfway between a goblin and a dragon, but I think of them as like tiny little humanoid versions of dragons.
In effect, yes, that's exactly what they are. But when you think about what something is, they are just a kind of evolutionary, well, rather not really evolutionary, because they're kind of a product of God's step in the dragon line. Yeah, you guys are next to the kobolds. I mean, Jamie walked up to them, so.
And yet again, I can't figure out how to get my token on the screen.
Drag your name.
Oh, that seems to have worked.
Did you drag one on?
Apparently I did. I'm not really
No,
sure
I
how, but
dropped one. I dropped one. Did you drag one on?
no, I guess that was you. You did something.
If you drag your name from the character, can you drop it on the screen? Just like left click. Yeah, I think left click on your name. Drag that over to the screen and just set it down.
And by from your name, sorry, he means in the top right corner, so at the top above where the chat log is, you've got an icon for 2 speech bubbles.
Got it.
Yeah, there you go, done it.
I know it's been a year and a half, and I still haven't figured this out.
Now, if you select your token there and then roll initiative.
I just picture Jamie, like the player, is like our version of Dory from Finding Nemo.
That's great. Okay, why didn't it roll? Oh wait, maybe it did.
Oh, it did. It's because it double clicked.
Oh, I was scrolled up at the top too, because I was looking at, never mind.
So looking like we are starting with Faint.
Alright, okay, let's just see how far away I am. Cool, so I'm going to move back a little bit. Go to this embankment.
Hey, how tall are kobolds?
About your size, they're basically like probably 2 to 3 feet in general.
Okay, I thought they were small.
A natural 1 to shoot at this guy.
Let me know your targets before you roll. But big ol' miss from Josh. Everybody is surprised.
I think I've landed 1 shot in the past 8 attacks or something now. It's going pretty good. I stopped keeping track of the stats behind it, but yeah, it's something like that.
I mean, in general, I still am trying to convince you to play a character who actually uses that bonus attack from having 2 like fast or light weapons. But then to jump into a rogue where you're always going to have 1 attack, you will never have odds on your favor.
Just an unlucky person when it comes to D&D.
So one of the kobolds is going to huck its spear at Karis. Oh wait, Paris. And because they don't know where Karis is, I believe they are going to swing and a miss with, what is that? I think that's a 10.
Why is it a 10?
Nope, it's a 12. What's your AC? Your AC is 20. Wait,
15.
what? No, 15? Word. So yeah, big ol' miss as it swings out and throws a spear over your shoulders.
All right, which one threw a spear at me?
The one basically kind of northeast of you. Basically the only one that is to the east at all of you.
Okay.
And you are going to be next.
All right, well, I'm going to charge it because that seems like a moderately stupid thing to do. And hope you all don't hit me.
Solid hit. And how does your mace kill this kobold?
Smacks it right through the head because it's kind of at my level directly. So normally I would kneecap something, but I can go right across its head.
So you hear as one of the other kobolds just yells out, "You freaking brained him!"
Yes. You all attacked first.
And he's just going to charge at you with his spear in hand, or his javelin in hand, and he's going to jump out, and he's going to try to stab you with the javelin.
Yay.
23 will hit, and he's going to deal a solid 1 damage. Suffer!
Youch!
Does that mean she's down? Instant kill, that isn't it?
Nah. Apparently I have 20 hit points.
Well, you're doing well then. That's a lot more than me.
The next one is going to huck a javelin at you with a 14 to hit. I believe that's still a miss with a 15. And then I think it will be Ezekiel.
Okay, I guess Ezekiel, will I get to act normal this round?
Yeah. I don't think any of you guys were not expecting kobolds to attack. I think you guys were more surprised by the fact that they were not attacking.
All right, he's gonna just run up between like 3 of them and hold his shield up in the air, and he'll yell out,
Fuck.
"You fools! It was a mistake to engage us." And I'm gonna do Word of Radiance as I like smash my shield into one of them.
Wisdom 13? Or is that Dex? Constitution 13. 2 radiant damage. They might actually be able to survive this.
Here comes the boom.
Fear our level 2 characters.
So as the radiant arcs down. Oh wait, that's a cantrip, right? That's save or suck, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cantrip.
Sweet, not taking half damage. So 2 of them kind of. I guess really it's just that their flesh doesn't even burn from it, because it's a con save. That's a weird way to describe it. I think 2 of them just seem unaffected. As the one to the west of you starts to burn, and you see as a bit of its flesh, like around its eyes, starts to sear, and you can almost see as it's like dying and starts to like ash away around all of its like soft tissue, kind of like that. And then I think I'll get the other 3. Yeah, 8, 7, 8.
Oh, I'm gonna do a bonus action also, actually.
Oh yeah, go for it. My bad.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna do I will, after I like hit him with my shield, I'll just hold it up in the air and I'll mumble something in a foreign language. And you just see my shield turns into like a big ice, like fancy, elaborate like ice shield, and I will do Shield of Faith on myself. And then that's it for my turn.
So what? You're up to 20 AC right now.
20 AC.
And that's high.
Yeah, all 3 of those are right around you. So those 3 are going to. I think they're all just pulling daggers, and just one after another, they're just going to start stibby stabbing you. They just all kind of leap onto you. One of them leaps onto your actual shield, and they're all just stabbing you from different directions, kind of like doing the same like Yoda dance around you, almost like a maypole, as they try to stab at you. So the first one, big old miss with a 14. or 13. Second one, big ol' misses with 13. And the last one should get a hit with a 20. And it's going to do 5 piercing damage.
Affirmative.
And that will take it to faint.
All right, 1 second.
So you can get sneak attacks on all but the northeastern of the kobolds right now.
Okay, I'll go for the northern one. And I'll shout, Christ, they're climbing all over!
Christ, they're climbing all over him.
And then I'll shoot at him. Probably not Christ, though, because Christ doesn't exist in this world.
Yeah, find yourself a deity so you can yell out a deity's name. As you shoot for the one that's standing on his shield, he's just quick enough that at the last moment the arrows kind of go in his way, and he just does a little somersault that just takes him out of the way of the arrow. And you see as he looks down on the shaft from above it, and he just pokes it with his finger and it falls out of the sky.
Fuck.
Any movement or anything else from you?
Ah, fuck it.
What would you like to do, Paris?
Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Do I need to move, or am I good where I am to hit the next one in the line?
Oh, you're right next to one.
All right. Doing well. It's like bowling.
Solid strike out at him, and he is severely bloodied as you crush into him, but he's still standing.
Okay, so flurry of blows. No, but unarmed strike, is that a bonus action or not?
That's a bonus action, it is indeed.
All right, well then I will try unarmed strike at it.
And this time he's able to dodge it, and you see as he moves out of the way, there's just a stream of blood that falls into your hand, and you punch the blood out of the air.
Sounds fun. That's it for me.
Let's see. I think he's just going to leap onto your shoulders and try to stab you with his dagger. And he fails miserably. As the next kobold behind him is going to run up to you and leap onto your shoulders as well. And he'll hit with a 23, and he'll do 5 piercing damage to you. He's just yelling, still with the same idea. He's like, "You fucking brained him!"
It's like
Now,
a
what would
weird
you like to-
gymnastics routine. Or
I
like
guess you're actually
cheerleading.
probably the least likely person for them to be crawling on, because you guys are essentially the same size. But I definitely feel like that's how pack tactics kind of works for kobolds, is they swarm you like gremlins.
It makes sense. We got 3 around the other person who's nearby.
And what would you like to do, Ezekiel?
Oh yeah. When he hits me, I have that holy shield up. What do I need to roll for that?
To maintain concentration, it's just under 10. You need 10 or over, I think, to maintain concentration.
Is that on Constitution or?
Yeah, it's a Constitution saving throw. Do you have Warcaster with that guy? Isn't that what you switched to? So you also have advantage to it as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so you're good.
Yeah, so I'm just going to smash my shield into the one right in front of me and emit that same sort of like holy light. And as I do, I'm gonna just yell out, "Faint! I know you're a pacifist, but now is not the time."
Roll for the damage. The first two are gonna fail. Oh yeah, that's gonna be bad. Ooh, let's see. I think the one to your west is bloodied, the one north of you is severely bloodied, and the one on your east is still fighting, seemingly unaffected by the divine radiance.
Nice. And if I like glance over at Paris, is she still looking good, or is she already bloodied?
Are you under half hit points, Paris?
Nope, I'm still standing. I have blood on me, but it's not mine.
All right, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
she looks fine.
So no bonus action for me this turn.
And it's gonna go to the 3 kobolds on you. And I think they're all just gonna do the same as they keep kind of jumping on you and stabbing you with their daggers. So the first one from above you will get hit with 20, and he's gonna do 4 piercing. The second one is going to miss with a 15, and the last one miss with a 16. As they're just kind of plinking off of your armor, still kind of dancing around on top of you and on your shield as they're trying to both end you as well as survive. Faint. The time for pacifism is over. Get a critical, which doesn't really matter because kobolds have so many hit points that even with sneak attack, doubling all of those dice is not enough to kill them.
I live in fear.
As well you should.
All right. The sun, or the aurora borealis that shines down as a light, it seems more vivid than usual. It's almost permeating my soul, in through the eyes, gleaming back at it, and as I raise my short bow, I almost feel as though the cold is warming somewhat to me. The wind raises my bow. Its arrow, knocked in the string, feels as though it must fly true, and I shoot. One's the north again.
Just
Nice.
sounds like the description of a 1. Still, they're just moving too quickly as they swarm your friends, and you're just like, yeah, you guys got this. Paris, what would you like to do? The one to your northwest is severely bloodied. The one to your west seems to be healthy.
I'm gonna hit the one to my northwest.
Solid strike. It will fell him.
All right, so that's another one that's got its head on the ground and is its skull smashed in. And then I will do unarmed strike on the one that is next to me.
Solid punch to his face. He is unhappy.
I'd be unhappy too.
So he is going to drop to the ground, and as he grovels before you, kind of present in his hands, between the dagger in his hand and some coins. Mercy! Mercy! Please! We just want to live!
So there are the 3 that are around Ezekiel. They're all still standing, and then I've just got 1.
Yep. Ezekiel, what would you like to do?
Which one was that just groveled?
It's the one next to Paris right now.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see that then. So yeah, one more time. I'll just hold my shield up in the air, and I will mutter something else, and then like holy bolts will like radiate from it, and I'll do the same thing.
He is going to strike out at Paris for a 19 will hit, and he's going to do 4 piercing damage to you.
All right. I am starting to feel slightly damaged now. Actually, fairly damaged. I'm at half.
So you drop the one above you, Ezekiel. The one to your west is severely bloodied. And again, that one just doesn't seem to have any effect from radiant damage.
Okay, gotcha. And then I'm gonna bonus action. I'll just hold my shield up in the air and yell, "Restore the light to me with your life." No, the life to me with your light. You know what I mean. And I'm gonna do healing word on myself.
And that's your turn.
Yep, that's it.
So the next two, as they're kind of leaping over you and kind of like switching spaces while they stab into you, they're going to cry out, "We asked for mercy!"
You
so an 18 will
attacked!
miss, and a 11 will miss. Fate, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna say,
All right, guys. To be fair, they asked for mercy.
and I'm gonna act like I'm not paying attention and go, oh, my bow went off, and I'm gonna shoot at the one to the east of Ezekiel. Yeah, there you go. Eat shit, world.
How do you kill him?
I go to lower my bow with the arrow that I've got knocked in it, but in doing so, I let go too early and it just pings off and I go, oh, and it just fires, ricochets off the floor and straight up through his skull.
Of course, your one hit would be an accidental shooting.
What am I, the Atlantan police?
Paris, what would you like to do?
Oh, sorry. Didn't realize it was me. Okay, well, it looks like we're just going to eliminate these guys, and I will bash at the one in front of me.
He dodges it.
Unarmed strike.
Dodges that as well. And as he's dodging, he reaches up to you and completely misses. Ezekiel, what would you like to do?
So the one next to me right now is not damaged at all, right?
No, that one's severely bloodied.
Oh, it is? Okay. I'm just gonna say, I grant you the mercy which you have asked for at the edge of my blade. And I'm gonna stab at it with my spear.
He just moves to the side as the spear stabs into the ground.
And then I will hold my shield up in the air and I will say, spare my friend. Heal her. And I'll healing word Paris.
Nice, thank you.
As you drop the spear into the ground, he's going to leap up at you and just kind of like hits into your arm and kind of falls. And he'll stand back up as he tries to stab at you and still fails. Feet, what would you like to do? Faint, not feet, but feet would be a good name.
Yeah. I think I need to pick some up in order to make this character viable with my rolls. Is there a feat which gives you +10 to all attack rolls?
You'd be bored if you always hit.
I think even then I'd still only hit half the time. I'm gonna go for the one to the west of Ezekiel.
Alright, fuck it, let's kill 'em all.
There we go.
Solid hit, and that will down him. Paris, have at him.
Would you die already? Ooh, that should take care of it, right?
It does indeed.
So they're all down.
Cruel bastards.
Right, they said they had shit to sell, so let's check the corpses.
You know, if they had kept it up a little bit longer with the "we need help" and not attacked us, I would have been okay with them walking in. Maybe not with us as a group, but, going into town.
Couldn't agree more. I was ready to go in and speak to the innkeeper and see if they were interested in doing a bit of business. I was here to help, and then they attacked us before they even heard us through, so fuck these little lizard guys.
Weary travelers will be safe on these roads, thanks to our deeds.
Maybe we could drag some of these corpses into the inn and let them know of our deeds. But first, they mentioned they came with shit to sell, so let's see if they've got any gold or loot.
Can roll an investigation.
Probably just shiny stuff, trinkets.
I recommend somebody helps me with this investigation, but I'm gonna roll. That's not bad.
Over about 20 minutes, you go through all of their shit. You are able to collect 30 silver and 30 copper pieces.
Josh, can you put that in?
Yeah, I'll do it now, but we just need to make sure we divide it up in a minute.
All of you just put 10 copper and 10 silver on your persons.
That's some
Okay, that
fast
makes
maths.
sense.
Are you a calculator?
Shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, for a wizard.
So, as you guys finish up the kobold, you see as about 15 guards come out of the building just to the northwest or northeast of you. And they're all wearing the Easthaven garb, which I think I've already shared, so I can't do it again.
Yeah, it's the tower, isn't
Yep.
it?
Yep, the tower with the water for Lake Dinishar, and the brown is the symbol for the Eastway Road. And they kind of like walk out, and they just kind of like look over you all, and they're just like, we had a lot of bets going whether those kobolds were going to take you or you guys were going to be able to handle yourselves. Congratulations. You didn't die to starving beasts.
Well, how much did you win on the back of the bet?
That you guys lived was actually incredibly bad odds. It was paying shit. I don't know how to bet, so I think 1 to 30 to 1. Yeah, you had to bet 30 gold to make 1 gold.
And did anybody bet on us for that?
Just a few of us.
Well, then I guess sounds like just a few of you can get me a drink in a minute.
No, thank you.
Should have given us the opportunity to bet on ourselves. We could have cleaned up for you fools, for you have underestimated us. But rest assured, the road is clear for now.
Everyone else can feel safe. We took out these scary kobolds. Otherwise, if they were so easy, you would have gone out and done it.
They've been begging to enter the city for about 2 weeks now.
Why didn't you let them in?
Because they're kobolds.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Does anybody really like kobolds?
I think they are kind of cute, actually. Are these creatures always hostile? Are there many of them in these lands?
In the spine of the world, yes. Apparently they've been starving for some time, and I think these had kind of started to move out of the way, looking for a white dragon that they might be able to take in with. We seem to be their last hope at living without serving a higher order dragon.
Is there tale of any white dragons round here?
There's more than a couple if you go looking.
Well, I'll choose not to, but I appreciate finding out whether there were or weren't any.
Don't travel too far into the grinding ice.
Doesn't really have the kind of name that would attract much tourism, so I'll probably steer clear if I can.
A wise decision. What brings you travelers to Easthaven?
Well, a multitude of reasons really, but what it truly boils down to is adventure and interest more than anything.
Trying to die to kobolds in your adventures. Intriguing.
We had no intention of dying to them. I'm sure you saw that yourself. We're quite capable.
Well, you all are more than welcome to enter Easthaven. If you hurry, you might even be able to catch the festivities. And you see as he kind of like looks off to the northeast a little bit, kind of strains his eyes for a few moments, and then kind of looks back at you all. Seems like it hasn't begun yet.
What are these festivities for then? Something to do with the moon or some shit?
No, no, no. We've already enjoyed the celebration for Oral. We have someone special that we've gathered up. A vile murderer who's going to enjoy his ends.
So it's a celebration of an execution then, is it?
Good bit of the town's out to watch him. We brought in most of the boats, most of the fishers, most everybody is left what they're doing to enjoy this. Should be among the warmest days that you can enjoy in Easthaven. You've come just in time.
And that's what you do here, is it? You throw a little shindig when somebody's being executed.
If a murderer gets caught, it seems like a good time to celebrate.
Well, normally when there's an execution, people just sort of wait to sit and then go about their business. It's not really a whole town affair, you know?
What kind of normal do you come from?
Me, I come from Waterdeep.
You're a long way away from Waterdeep, friend.
I know that all too well. Just a lot of your customs and your 10 towns are a bit unfamiliar to me, so just call it a curiosity.
What brings you up here from Waterdeep? And he's just gonna kind of like spin his spear a little bit to bring the hilt, like to bring the spear point down and the hilt up. And he's just gonna kind of like lean it towards your hood. He's about to push your hood back.
Oh, didn't I tell you already? We're adventurers. Came looking for adventure, seeing there's anywhere we can have some fun and make some gold in the process, you know?
You've come up to Icewind Dale for nothing more than adventure. You're in for a big surprise here. You might find a way to enjoy the customs and not find the culture so insulting before the culture finds you.
So what we're looking near with Easthaven then? From what I understand, it's one of the bigger of the 10 towns.
We do quite well for ourselves. We're among the oldest. We've had the largest settlement for some time. Perhaps we're not the largest now, though.
And your town speaker, who have you got representing you here?
If you look hard enough, you should be able to find Daneth Wayland over at the Burning.
What was
And
that?
he kind of points down the road. If you follow this, you should see a bright flame within the next few minutes. Should show you right where everyone is.
Oh, sorry, you say that in the burning.
The Burning. Are you asking him?
No, I was asking you for my notes because I couldn't type fast enough. But now, well,
Yeah.
The burning, was that some kind of inn or like a temple or something?
A temple. I like that. Sounds like the thing somebody from Waterdeep would say. You could call it his final temple. His final stay at the inn. And you see as he kind of looks back, and a few of the people who are staring off to the northeast all look to him for a moment, and they all chuckle at the same time.
Well, that's probably the most deeply ominous thing I've heard so far today, and I've come from Goodmead.
What news have you from Goodmead?
It's not in a good way. We were only there for one night, but their town speaker's been murdered whilst he was outside doing a delivery.
Unfortunate for Goodmead.
Again with the ominous type of, inflection on what you're saying there.
It's Icewind Dale. People die. It's how things go.
Yep, but from the sounds of things, he was killed by, beasts coming down from the spine of the world, so them kobolds we took care of could have been the start of something much worse.
I am curious about this murderer you say that's going to be executed. What name does this man go by?
You'll have to find Captain Inja to find out the name of him. We're only aware that we were able to catch him 2 days back, right after the sacrifices. Otherwise, he would have been our sacrifice to Oro. That would have been a great honor of ours to give. But I guess we'll have to settle for bringing him to her a few days late.
Understood. It sounds like he had it more than coming if he was convicted through due trial of murder.
He's been hiring adventurers to look for something, and apparently he's killed 4 of them.
That is quite unfortunate. What was his method of murder, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not all that familiar with him, friend. Must say all we knew is what we were looking for, and that he's been here for quite some time, hiring folk to go out into the tundra looking.
Understood. We will find the captain that you speak of, and perhaps he can answer our questions. We were ourselves warned of the dangers that may travel and murder on these roads.
He's been here in the town for much of the time. You have a murder on the roads.
Yes, when we were leaving Cardanval, we were informed of one such person, a man. But we have yet to encounter him, but are on the lookout nonetheless.
You're on the lookout for a man. Do you have more of a description?
Unfortunately, there were minimal details, and in time we hope to find this one, but it was more of a warning and perhaps an open-ended book to investigate along the trails. But it's not without reason to understand that people in this area are ruthless and cannot be trusted.
Seems true enough. Everyone's in Icewind Dale for a reason. And he's gonna look back towards Faint. What sort of details are you going off of for this murderer?
The word of one of their most trusted hunters. He seemed to be quite informed about what had gone on.
Supposedly, he is a man with dark hair and was traveling with a caravan and was ruthless in his murders. He was coming from the north, traveling south with a caravan, but unfortunately, that is all we know for now, and we are yet to encounter him.
He takes out like a small piece of like slate, and you see as he seems to write on it with like a like an oil pen that just leaves kind of like like almost like a stain type of thing. It's like a grease pen kind of thing. And he takes down a few of those details that you give him. Well, at least we have somewhere to start. Murderers are always good to keep an eye on. Do you require anything else, or can we see you on your way?
On our way in, I hope.
You are more than welcome in. If you think of any more details for your murderer, please make sure to either share them with Imdra, or you can find myself back here, Reothine. And he'll kind of like bow his head a little bit to you all, just like a little like dip from his head. And he'll just kind of point you on your way.
Thank you very much, but who might Indra be?
He's gonna try to push your hood off your head.
Alright, I'll avoid it if I can.
Do a dexterity save.
Seven.
So when he pushes it off your head, he's like, "Well, apparently you have ears, boy. Did you not hear me say Imdra is the city's captain of the guard?"
Just quickly pull my hood back up.
Yeah, I heard you, but didn't know if you meant it was somebody in particular, you know? Captain of the Guard. Fair enough.
Do we notice anything like peculiar when we see Faint's face there?
Do a perception check. And do a dexterity check for me, Faint. Faint, describe your face.
Faint is a child with a drawn-on beard. There's not much more to it than that.
So I think Faint is 20 years old, and adulthood for an elf is 100.
Yeah, that's right. So he's obviously been around for a few years, but he's, full on an adolescent. He's young and immature.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. I'll discuss it later in private, maybe.
So I guess I just sort of fumble with putting my hood back up again.
It's cold and appreciate you not knocking my hood off like that, you know.
Had to make sure you could hear that go around. Wouldn't want you to be in town and not know how to find the cards that you need to find when you need to find them.
Well, thank you very much. You seem like an upstanding gentleman, and I appreciate you welcoming us into your town.
Keeping the city safe. So most of them will start to walk back into their actual building lair, and then they'll just kind of see you all down the Eastway. And effectively, the Eastway leads into town. Among what you all will kind of pick up is a lot of these houses seem to be among sort of the oldest of the houses that you will ever see in Icewind Dale. A few of these houses you can actually see have at one point had windows, and they are now like boarded up, and you can actually see that there is like essentially like new construction to cover and do what they can to insulate where windows once were. It's probably about 1 in 5 houses, but especially walking down this Eastway portion as you head towards the town hall, you'll see more of those, as well as like when you eventually, if you walk near the piers, there'll be a higher concentration of houses that actually have windows in that area. This is indeed like the oldest settlement in Icewind Dale of the 10 towns, and basically the further you get out into its sprawl, the more likely they are to have actually been constructed like since the winters have gotten harsher. And then anything that would be constructed in the last 2.5 years is absolutely windowless. And you can kind of see that their architecture has a difference here. It seems a lot more like what you would see like around Neverwinter, where harsh winters exist, but they are not like permanent. And it's basically just a sign that the people who settled here might have settled back when there were times where there was actually summer. And it is no longer the same situation. So while you don't necessarily see actual windows into houses, these at one point were able to kind of make that sacrifice of insulation. But otherwise, you all probably make probably about towards like the 3rd or 4th pier before you see ahead of you just like a massive pillar of smoke, and then just a bright glazed orange kind of casts across the sky. And as you're walking over some of the tops of a few of the houses, you actually do see like little bits of fire kind of licking into the sky. And you see that the sacrifice is currently being made.
Looks like the process has already begun.
Yeah, it's a shame I haven't got time to find out what the real story might be. Somebody hiring adventurers? That could have been useful for us.
It was a rather peculiar encounter indeed. I I'm left with more questions than answers.
I agree with you there, and our current opinion is that we can't really trust the town's guard. They seem enthusiastic.
Yes, it seems rather strange that they were so apt to put to death a murderer, and yet they sat in their tower watching random travelers be murdered upon the road, when they could have so easily dispatched those kobolds themselves. And seems strange.
I'd agree with you there. This all seems very peculiar indeed.
We should be careful with our words while we are here. I am not sure these people can be trusted.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Seemed very interested when we mentioned the murder that happened in Goodmead. I wonder if they'd actually bother to get involved if they knew a bit more about it, or if they keep their affairs much more localized.
Hey, how far apart are these towns? I mean, they should be able to hear, like, we were only a day's walk in between, so they should know about things, right?
Well, it depends if any messages are coming through. I don't think people carry messages on the road very often round here. It's not exactly the most safe journey.
Yeah, Danica will kind of pipe in. People don't really travel these routes that you're taking. You guys are weird for doing this. Kind of like me. That's why we're best friends.
We
And
walked on the road.
most of these routes are like less than a few miles. It's like 3 miles from Caer Konig to Caer Dineval. I think you guys are walking 6 from Dineval to Goodmead, and I think it's about 4 from Goodmead to Easthaven. And the road was for before all of this shit got worse. Like, this has been settled for hundreds of years. It's only become much worse in the last few years.
Danica, I did not notice. Was your lantern glowing green by any chance back there?
I haven't actually checked. But we can light it now. Would one of you roll a d4? As she sparks the lantern, it is indeed burning green.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, they're close.
Are you toying with us, child?
No, this is what it does. It finds elementals. There's Trinkas here.
Well, perhaps we should look for them. I'm not really sure what the next step is.
Well, I guess our choice is to watch an execution or to chase after these things.
Well, clearly the right choice is to chase after these things. Twingas, they're Twingas. They're not things. This is an important scientific discovery. The scientific method.
We must trust the science. I am curious about these as well.
Yeah, right, fair enough. Let's walk in one direction until it changes colour then, I guess. And then at least we'll know we can start to triangulate the location.
So right now, I think that's where there's a Chwinga somewhere within there.
Danica, I'm still a little confused about this. Once we get close, how will we know that they are nearby, other than the lantern? And I thought you said they were invisible. How will we even see them to begin with?
Well, we know it exists because it's pink. We know it's invisible because we can't see it. And we know it's a unicorn because oh wait, no, Chwingas. Well, we just have to wing it and make it happen.
How do you know they're actually invisible and they're not just like, really small and don't want to be found or something?
I should have been more prepared with the invisible pink unicorn thing, but that's definitely going to be the Chwinga motto from now on. I think they're real, so I want to know they're real.
Yeah, I just mean that you say they're invisible because you've never seen them before, but how do you know you're not just been looking in the right place?
I got the lantern to know. Which way should we walk?
Well, let's walk back down along the road we just came down until it changes colour. Then that way we'll know one vector. And then we walk at a 90-degree angle to that from the centre of it, and then we can work out what the other vector is. And from there, we'll be able to work out almost exactly where their location is.
So you want to walk west along the Eastway right now?
Yeah, about the way we came back west, and then basically we'll know when that changes that we've gone too far, which gives us 1 point of reference. So then we walk back to the center point, and then walk 90 degrees to that, which I guess will be sort of northwesty, and then until that changes color, and then that will give us roughly the exact location by overlaying the two fields of radius.
So who's going to guess what 300 feet is? Who's leading the group on that march?
Well, we'd just know when it changed color, wouldn't we?
So are we in the
Alrighty.
center of the
So
circle?
roll a D100.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing you do as if you're trying to work out where a cell phone tower would be. You just have to use.
Yes, but this is a video game. This is a game. This is not real life. I don't have the location of the Chwingas anywhere. We are going to create that.
All right, fair enough.
What if they move?
Well, they have legs, so they do move.
Do they fly?
I've never seen their wings, but I've never seen them.
So what are your intentions when you catch one?
To study them.
All right, so I guess I look at Fate and go and shrug and go, well, it's better than watching an execution.
Yeah, there's only one way that can go, but finding needs to go a number of ways.
So about there is where it will go back to red.
If we just kind of like hang out around that spot, like, can you just take a couple steps and it turns green, a couple steps and it turns red? Like, does it give us the impression that the Twinkie is stationary?
Roll a D100. Roll another D100.
Well, chances of that.
Pretty average rolls.
So on some level, you do feel like perhaps they're moving, but perhaps they're also not moving far. It's hard to really tell, but those two you kind of get like a little bounce from.
Well, they appear to be at least slightly moving, so it's safe to assume they are awake during the day. I'm not sure exactly how to look for them. Don't have any magic that would give me any benefits, but perhaps we can find small footprints in the snow, or
As if they are small, they might just be invisible. And massive. Or no feet at all.
well, perhaps we can find some sort of sign of them. What did you say the range on your lantern is?
It should be about 300 feet.
So where we are now, we must be near the edge of it. So I will go around roughly 300 feet in the opposite direction and see if I can see any signs of them.
Well, shouldn't we take the lantern in case they're down to the south or to the north and we could still check?
Of course, I think possibly spreading out will give us the best chance of locating them. I'm not sure if they will be frightened of us or if they will just behave normally. If they are invisible and they are here in town, they probably will assume that we do not know of their presence.
So you all want to split up and look in different areas?
I think we should stay together with a lamp burning the whole time, basically. And just move around.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're looking for, like how we can know that we found it. So we might as well stick together.
I will pace out like roughly 300 feet and see if I can see any sort of tracks or anything. Try to find an area with fresh snow and no like human-looking tracks or less travel. Although we are in town, so I'm not sure how likely that will be. Perhaps they are on the rooftops.
So do an intelligence check. Roll a d100.
I feel like this is a very good plan and likely to succeed.
You're like
So-
totally really smart.
So Danica, do you know what they like to eat? Maybe we could attract them with some snacks that we probably don't have, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Are you moving without the lantern, Ezekiel?
I don't know. Is everybody staying together or not? I kind of thought that we were staying together.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
going with you.
I don't know what they eat. I've never met one, but I'm really excited to find out what they eat. Roll a d20 for me, Ezekiel.
Perhaps we can coax them out. I have some rations. They're not particularly good, but maybe we can tempt them close.
Yeah, we have all that meat. What was it, wolf meat?
God, I hate Gygaxian fucking bullshit. I can get 200 feet by measuring to a northeastern edge of a circle, 300 feet by measuring to a cardinal direction. What the fuck? It's like 300 to the east, 250 to the south, and 200 to the northeast. That is absurd. That looks like a circle to you guys, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly circle, but I've got a widescreen, so maybe that might be part of it as well.
The world is
Yeah,
folded
but I
in
mean,
interesting ways.
the map that it displays should be the same thing regardless.
Here, here, little Twingas. We have a gift for you.
I feel like we should have Twinkies.
Who or what is Twinkie?
So let's go for you walk to this point, and check. And let's see. Roll a d4 for me, Ezekiel. And it's still burning green. So I think at that point, you all would be able to roughly have the idea that they are kind of like somewhere in one of those almost like bean shape areas.
What?
Because it's still burning green when he walks about 400 feet to the opposite side. You all can kind of gather, actually realistically it would even be less than that, like on the way there. I don't know. I feel like it's getting super complicated how you guys are exploring for them. But you move there and you still have it burning green.
Let's walk towards the piers then and see if it changes or not. That'll tell us which of the two it is.
I want to try to look around in one of those bean areas for like little footprints in the snow or like strange droppings.
Roll a I think you could do a perception or an investigation, perhaps.
Here, little twinkles, we know you are near. We will not hurt you. Please reveal yourselves. Here, Twinga Twinga.
So if you're moving towards the northern one, looking around, kind of moving between the houses, you don't seem to see anything.
Alright, I'll go try to check towards the other one. Try to coax them out with the rations and say kind things.
What if they're like inside someone's house or something? Or just break in and start throwing food on the floor?
So what's that make you think, Josh?
Maybe they're inside someone's house.
But what are you going to do about it?
Well, I was gonna originally use triangulation to work out where exactly they were, and then just knock on that door. But if we can only narrow it down to certain areas, then I don't know what we'd do, because I was hoping we could try and get a lot
If
of
you
stuff
think
from
they
them.
might be in somebody's house, what do you think Faint would do when he thinks they might be in somebody's house?
Well, I know what obviously he could do, which is break in and look for him. But I was thinking probably.
Or you could just knock on a door. Pick a door and knock on it.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Let's knock on a door in the area that we think they might be in. Then.
You guys have triangulated it. You know where they should be. Start investigating and knocking on doors. Ezekiel, you can do another perception check. Faint, roll a d100.
I thought I heard something. They're close now.
All right, so we need to go and knock on a door and ask people about invisible things.
Yes, Tringas, ask them if they've seen them.
Well, Danica here can offer them gold in exchange for letting us search their home.
If I offer them gold, it's gold that you guys will lose. I thought you wanted that coin. You seem like very greedy people.
Our fee will be the same regardless.
Well, we could definitely give them whatever gold we earned today from the kobolds. It's not like we started out with it.
Shut up.
So moving around, you don't see anything on this southern side. Just kind of around where Ezekiel's looking, you just knock on a door. Don't get any response from inside. It seems like these people might be at the burning.
Well, I don't think we should start out our visit to this town by breaking and entering, especially since we're looking for something that we don't know what it looks like. Any of the city guards that come over will just not believe us.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I'm pretty confident in the fact I could get in there and have a look, but I want us all to be in there. And considering how hospitable the people here seem to be, the last thing I want to do is get caught, given the price.
Perhaps we can gain a vantage point so we could see further away. I'm not sure why my idiot brother had this, but there's a grappling hook. Perhaps we could scale a building?
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
To
I've done
look
that
for the
before.
Twingas?
But that's the thing, though. It seems like it's something we need to do a proper search on. You know, more hands we have, the faster we can search, and having a lookout's not a bad thing. But how would you let me know that guards were nearby?
Are you climbing up on top of a roof? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, sure.
Roll an athletics check. You climb up there like your feet have spider climb. There's no
Ridiculous.
difficulties at all.
Good roll, man.
And what are you thinking once you get up there?
Try to use the vantage point to spot the Twingo footprints on the roofs. This grappling hook actually works phenomenally. I can understand why he had this now. What is that over there? Could it be?
Make another perception. You can have advantage on this. Looking around, you actually see could be little points where like snow has actually kind of rolled off of this roof, but you can actually see different areas where it actually seems like the snow, if it was rolling downhill, it seems to actually turn like around the chimney, walk towards the edge of the house, and then start rolling downhill again. But other than that, it looks like footprints, and they follow up this edge of this house and into the chimney.
I'm sure that I see little footprints up into the chimney. It must be the Chichingas, the Twinkies, the Twingas. There, I can see which house it is. So I'm gonna like unsecure the grappling hook and try to like slide down and land into like a little snowbank or something.
Do a dexterity check.
Yes, I'm on my way.
Don't break your bones.
Yeah, you're able to like slide down with like one arm holding up your head, like you're reclined on a little like sedan, and just like very casually like slide off of the roof and into a snowbank, and it just seems like you're chilling in the snow like you did this before.
Of course not. That is my patented move. Fine. I took no damage. That house over there, they have crawled in the chimney. We must knock on the door and try to find the Chingas.
So you knock on the door, and when you finally get somebody to answer the door, you see a little old lady. Her hair's just like super disheveled, and she just kind of like looks at you like with one eye like partially closed, and she kind of looks at you like she's like looking down at the ground, sees your feet, and then like slowly looks up to your head. She's like, "Oh, hi. What can I do for you?"
Hello, mademoiselle. I apologize for the intrusion, but I am here with my niece and
Quick, come inside. Shut the door.
yes, of course. Thank you.
So she brings the four of you inside, and she just kind of like looks over you all. And she's just like, mouth open, kind of in shock, not moving.
My niece here is a scientist of sorts, and it may sound a little crazy, but she has it in her head that there are these small creatures, the Twingas, and while at first we were hesitant to even believe her, we try and indulge her imagination. And I actually spotted some footprints going into your roof, so I'm not sure if you know of these creatures or their presence here, or perhaps you just have a rodent problem. But if we could take a look, I would be greatly appreciative.
She like looks around at all of you, kind of like adjusting her eyes a little bit. Twingas? I believe in science. What are Twingas?
Ah, excellent. Then please indulge us.
So Danica essentially will describe to her that they're little creatures probably coming into her house, stealing little things in the night, just kind of causing all kinds of like a ruckus. And you just see as this lady like is deeper and deeper into it, like, yeah, got that. Uh-huh. That's been happening. Yep. Door's been left open. Uh-huh. Yep. Seems like people are sneaking in my house. Yep. All kinds of these different things, and eventually she'll kind of like get up and she'll go over the full list, and she like shows like her cupboards where she's got like a single plate left, and she says like all the other plates have been stolen, slams it shut, goes and like grabs her little like silverware thing, and she like holds up the silverware tray that's empty. She's like, they took all my silverware, and just kind of goes through her kitchen, and apparently like most of her kitchen utensils have been stolen. And she's like, yeah, I've got Twingas. Sounds like I'm the one.
We are so close. Mademoiselle, if we find these creatures, you will be famous all throughout the realm.
She just kind of like scratches her head. I don't need to be famous, but if I could just get a good night's sleep without freezing when they leave the door open, that would be great.
That
And
also
she's-
seems like a reasonable possibility.
She'll just walk you to the back door, and she's like, I could never figure out what's going on, but this door, this is the one. They always seem to leave it open.
Are there any footprints going from the back door?
Roll a survival. You do not see any footprints.
Can I like go around by the chimney and see if I see like any like kind of ashy footprints or hear anything like up in the chimney?
You can do another perception. And yeah, you see that they seem to be coming in through the chimney, and by the sound of her description and what you saw on the rooftop, that makes sense because they were not leaving through the chimney, but the footsteps were kind of walking towards it, and you can see here that it seems like they have like it looks a lot like just ash coming out of the chimney, but it specifically walks around the hearth and it heads like towards the kitchen. They seem to have like a regular trail, almost like ants, where they just like come in through the chimney and they go into her kitchen, and by the sounds of her description, they leave through that back door.
We are very close. I can't believe we've made it this far. Mademoiselle, can you tell us in particular, are there any food substances or anything? Do they appear to have a certain taste?
I don't think they've taken any of my food. They just take all of my utensils
And your plate?
and my plates.
Was there any particular material that your utensils are made of? Were they fancy, silver or just an iron?
I don't think anything special. I have pretty typical ceramics. I don't think it's. I don't know. They are nature spirits. Perhaps if we try to look for any sort of nature in this area where they might be able to enjoy themselves with a little bit of privacy, maybe that's where they're going?
Do you know of any such places around here?
I think the church just to the east of here is probably has among some of the last trees that are at least near to us. Maybe start there?
I don't suppose that the door they keep leaving open would happen to lead that way.
Yeah, I think at this point we are going to call it that you guys are in this house.
So, madam, how long has this been happening?
Her eye like twitches, the one that's almost all the way closed. Two 10 days, a month. It's been a while.
Do you live alone here?
Yes, it's just me.
You must have thought you were going insane. I'm glad we showed up when we did.
All things being equal, I definitely thought it was me.
Well, we will continue to investigate, but I think we need to follow their trail and look for the stash of goods that are missing. Uh, uh, Perhaps we will see you again shortly, but we are hot on their trail. I think we should go.
Her head like twitches a little bit, like 3 times down and to the left, as she just repeats, hot, hot, hot.
Did I think that was weird? Does she seem human, or is there something else like awkward going on here?
It definitely should seem weird, but she's also going insane.
Maybe she's a Sichanka.
And you guys are in a place where heat is not something that exists. Remember, you are never warm here. At best, you feel less like you're freezing to death.
Oh, so hot doesn't make any sense.
Unless she's got pneumonia.
She's fucking insane.
Madame, I don't suppose you have any spare beds here, do you?
Beds? No, plenty of spare space.
We will need a place to stay while we are here in town. Perhaps we can further investigate this and keep you a little company and stay the night. We have plenty of fresh wolf meat and would be glad to share. A small feast.
Plus, also, we know they come at night time, so we can stay watch for you, see if they come whilst we're taking shifts to stay awake and look for them.
Right,
The
protect
White
you.
Lady Inn is just up the street here. And she points to the northwest.
I understand that, and I'm sure we can stay there tomorrow, but I'm just thinking, we've got a mutual interest here. Both want to find these creatures, and then you can get a good night's sleep, and seems like they come at night time, so if we're here at night, keeping an eye out for them, we could help you out.
Sounds a lot like you're forcing yourselves into my house. I think I'm gonna have to go get the guards. And she's moving towards the door.
But we'll give you money if we can stay.
Yeah, honestly, we're not trying to force ourselves into your home. Don't, please forgive me if we've given you that impression. We're just trying to help. If you're not comfortable with it, we'll stay at the inn. It was just something that seems to be a quick solution to trying to find him if we can't find him off towards the church.
She's running out of the front door right now.
So can we try to convince her not to go?
You can make a persuasion if you'd like, but she's going.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do a persuasion to stop her from going. Madam, we mean you no harm. We have quite a bit of coin and could easily stay somewhere else. We only mean to help you.
Well, why don't we go to the church and see if we can find the Chwingas?
Why would they be there?
She said that's where the trees are.
Of course, let us go. I only thought that she could prepare a meal that we could all enjoy later on. It was a bad idea. Let's go. She is clearly insane. So yeah, I think we should go try to go towards the church and like look for the stash of goods.
Do you all want to look on your way there, or are you just walking towards the church with the map?
Well, we've got the lamp, so we keep looking to see if the color changes.
Yeah, but it only changes when they're 300 feet away, so we'd have to keep our eyes open on the walks of the church. Any sign of movement between the two, or any like paths or anything like that, or dropped items, or any sign of them before we get to the church.
Yeah, I think now that I've like seen their little footprints and kind of the trails they leave, maybe track to see like if we can see any additional footprints or like Josh said, any like random goods.
So let me have Faint do a perception, and Ezekiel, you can do a survival with advantage. So moving along the way, you don't really see anything discarded along the way. The lamp stays green the whole time, so it seems like there's a good possibility that they are kind of moving between these two locations. And you are able to pick up here and there different signs of these footprints. Again, it looks a lot like just a little bit of snow, like less than a centimeter, is like just rolling like a ball. Only you see these really weird twists and turns to it, that belies like an intelligence, and that's what you're actually tracking. So it's very hard to actually keep up with it, and there's times where you feel like you lose it because you must be following actual snow that's blowing in the wind. And then you pick up these little spots where they turn again and do erratic movements that, again, seems to be intelligent. Eventually, you all gain sight of the trees inside of the what appears to be like a fenced-in like backyard, and light is still burning green.
So it's been green the entire way here.
Yep.
Is the church within our circle?
No, you guys are not in that area anymore. The cheap church is to the west of where you are.
Do you think one of the Tringas hitched a ride on us?
I suppose it's possible, but I think we have just possibly tracked them from one of their locations, hopefully to their central hangout. If Danica is right and they are nature spirits, I can understand why in this place they would feel safe, but also find some special comfort near the trees. We are very close to a scientific breakthrough. I can feel it.
Possibly. I just know that I know nothing about them. They could be invisible. They could be massive. They could be small. They could be able to pass through walls. They could hold on to us. They could just be, you know, mental things that are just spirits or something. I don't know. It's all very weird. I got no idea where we're going with this.
They are very small and appear to almost roll, sort of like a roly-poly bug, but spiritual. But clearly have some sort of intelligence as they change direction as a small rodent would, investigating along the way.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll take your word for it. Suppose you did see some small footprints, didn't you? I guess it makes sense.
So you said it's like a gated in, like kind of back area?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the trees are within some sort of a gate.
Perhaps we should find someone and request entry. While churches tend to be public places, I don't think we should just start poking around unexplained.
I would agree. I think they take kindly to us.
Depends who's the church for, I guess.
Do we see like any like recognizable holy symbols or anything to tell us like what god this church belongs to?
Roll a religion check. As you look around, the only times that you see anything that seems even remotely like it's like a symbol of the deity that would have been here, you see that it seems to be desecrated on some level. That perhaps there's no love for whatever deity this once served. And while you don't see a symbol for Aurel, I think it's probably the point where you guys recognize that most people, if they serve anyone, they serve Aurel at this point.
Well, appears that this church has probably changed hands along the way somewhere, but I have quite a bit of knowledge of Oro, so perhaps we can keep it to a minimum, but find ourselves in the back here, but wanted. So I'll like knock on the front door or whatever. Also, I have a question. If you're proficient in something, doesn't it normally add your proficiency bonus to it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm proficient in religion, and I have a +0.
Do you have a -2 intelligence?
I do. So that just doesn't show up on the like.
Yeah, exactly. Your proficiency takes you to equal.
That makes sense. Not like it would affect the roll. I was just curious how that worked.
So roll a d20 for me. You knock on the door. You don't get any response from within. You wait a few moments. And you notice when you knocked on it, the door seemed to have kind of like creaked open a little bit. It wasn't locked. It had nothing kind of holding it shut.
Perhaps this place is unattended or abandoned, so to speak. Uh, let us go in. Hello. Hello there. And I'll just start to open the door.
It's pretty dark inside, so you're not necessarily going to see anything off the bat unless you actually cast light and light up your spear, like your shield or something. But as you kind of call out, there's just an eerie silence about the place. You can pretty quickly see in what light kind of scatters in from the aura above in this like immediate entrance place. It doesn't seem to have any signs of people walked in here recently. A little bit of snow scatters in with your footprints. There doesn't seem to be anything really like anywhere around this immediate space you're walking into. But you feel like a little bit of the sound of kind of the wind outside echoing through this halls, and I feel like the sound of it more than anything kind of tells you like this is empty.
I'll like reach up to the tip of my spear and touch it, and I'll just say, "Let my faith guide our way." And I'll cast light on it. Let us make our way towards the rear entrance and see if we can find anything.
So you're kind of like right between two ends of this hall, and as you walk in through the main door, you're entering the hall through that northeastern side, and when you kind of get between them, your light kind of shows you that there seems to be four ways that you can kind of go in general: southeast, northwest, or kind of directly west to the north of you, and directly west to the south of you. But those are kind of the 4 ways. You can't actually see, what is it, 20 feet on light?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, so I think actually you would be able to see that there appears to be a door in... Yeah, it looks like you could see in all directions. All 4 of those ways seem to have a door out of them. Otherwise, this room seems to be like just a large, almost like meeting hall. A lot of the actual wood or whatever once filled this place, you can start to see marks where it kind of sat and almost like scratched up the wood many ages ago. But everything seems to be gone. At this point, this building is like a facade. There's very little actually inside of here.
Here, little chingas, don't be scared. We will not hurt you. And I'll just kind of like make my way towards the outside door.
I'm going to gently jingle my bell to see if that does anything, and then roll a ball bearing across the floor.
You're jingling a bell?
Yeah, I've got a bell in my inventory and gear for some reason, so I'll just try like jingling that a little bit and then rolling a ball bearing across the floor.
Dude, bells are one of the best adventuring items that there are. Never forget the value of a little bit of fishing line and a bell when you want to have a good night's sleep in the wild. You jingle the bell. I feel like it's just too short of an area for any actual echo. Maybe you get like a little bit of an echo from like the southeastern side, almost like off of the roof. You can roll a ball bearing across the floor. Nothing seems to happen.
Sorry, I thought maybe they'd be like cats or something, you know?
Oh, and they jump on it.
Yeah, I want to play with it or something, you know?
They're nature folks, so maybe if we go outside and you roll a ball bearing, you might get a response.
I mean, I'm up for trying anything at this point, so we can do, yeah? So you seem to think they'd be outside of the church rather than inside of it?
Of course, I think the only reason we came inside was to make sure it wasn't someone here that would get mad that we're poking around in the backyard.
What do you think they needed all those plates for? If these things are really small, it seems like regular human-sized plates would be very big.
They probably just like little trinkets. Let's see if we can find their stash. So I guess like I'll check that back door and see, is it unlocked like the other one was?
Which one are you choosing?
I guess just like the it would be like the southwest one.
Gotcha. So yeah, when you go over to that door, go to just kind of pull it towards you and it opens.
Ah, here we go. It's strange this place was abandoned here. Very interesting, but perhaps we should try and keep our time here to a minimum so we don't look suspicious. Although I don't think there's anything to steal.
Your passive perception is 13.
Yeah, 13.
So when you open the door, you see directly underneath the tree outside and in front of you, there is a knife with a plate sitting on top of it, floating about like 5 inches above the snow. And you see as the plate lifts up and tilts at about a 60-degree angle for just a moment, like in a second or two, before it like extends back down and rests on top of the knife again. And then on the opposite side, you see a spoon kind of lift up in the same way, and it sits at like the 60-degree angle, and then it like drops down on top of like a little teacup.
How high off the ground is this happening?
About like 4 or 5 inches.
Okay.
But there's effectively like 4 levitating objects in front of you right now.
Okay, I got you. Is there a way that I can like whisper back to the party like without being noticed, I think? Or does it feel like we're close enough that if I make any noise, I would be like heard?
It's certainly something that you can try. You can do a stealth check if you'd like to try to whisper something to them.
Yeah, I really don't want to do a stealth check. So I won't say anything, and then I will just like hold the dish like up kind of in my hand or like a teacup with my like pinky up, and I'll like pretend like I'm taking a drink, and then I'll point out the door.
So do a performance. Yeah, I think that's enough that everybody should have a pretty good understanding that you're kind of like showing. There seems to be like a tea party outside right now.
Yeah, and I feel like because I'm in heavy armor, I'm like pretty well aware that I can't be like sneaky, so.
Well, honestly, for what it's worth, you can do a stealth check and actually whisper to them and not have that disadvantage. Because it is not you moving, it's you talking.
I got you. Well, I feel like that was good enough for now.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where, like, it would have probably been more proper to call for a stealth check using your wisdom, because it's your wisdom of how loud you speak, um, rather than, like, a dexterity. And I think that the negative is attached to dexterity, because, again, it's movement, not your actual ability to, like, keep your voice low enough to not, like, echo. And then there's also one of the things about how our voices sound is there's specific like tones that travel much better. So I think that's where like calling it like a wisdom stealth check would have more properly been like how that would have been. But yeah, you did good with that wisdom to show like you see like a tea party ahead of you. What's everybody thinking right now?
I'll nod, understanding what he's saying, and then I'll like I don't know. I don't know if I should throw another ball bearing or not at this point. It might scare him off. See what else I've got. I'll squat down low in the direction of where the sort of tea party is on the go, and then I'll pull out a hammer I've got, and I'll set it down on the floor towards them, and then move back away from it, and just smile and wave and stay in a sort of squatted sort of posture.
So what are you trying to do there? Describe more like what your actual mental thought is with what you're going for.
My mental thought is to give them a hammer as like a friendly offering. Is to be like, here, look, here's. They seem to be stealing and enjoying just taking human objects. So I thought, well, if I offer them a human object that I've got, there's something is kind of similar to cutlery. I thought a hammer is vaguely in the same sort of handheld item remit as cutlery and stuff. That if I effectively offer them a hammer on the floor and be smiling and happy, if they understand humans at all anyway, they'll see that I'm being friendly, and by getting low to the floor, it wouldn't be intimidating that I'm standing over them.
So are you moving outside when you do this?
Sorry, yeah. I moved up to where Ezekiel is after seeing his
So I
gesture.
gathered Ezekiel didn't actually go outside. He opened the door and it seems like he stopped. And that's when he signaled you all.
Okay, I'll go about like 1 to 2 feet away from the doorway and do it, staying sort of near there, not wanting to get, because I'm just concerned that if I get too close, I'll scare them off, and I don't want to do that because it'll also be for nothing then.
So I guess that's kind of like just a charisma. I think just kind of like a flat charisma check might be what you're going for. So I think you are going to see as a few footsteps, like as the kind of like the spoon and the teacup, like set down, and you see as there's a few footsteps that kind of like approach towards you all, just like 3. They probably have like maybe an inch gait, so it's hardly even moved closer to you. The tree itself is probably like about 10 feet away from you all, where they're actually having their little tea party right now. And you see as a tiny little creature just kind of forms out of the thin air, and you can't really tell if like it's like in a gust of wind, snow like stuck to it, or if snow actually like picks up out of the ground and becomes this creature. But as you kind of sit and watch, you just see is there's a little creature that kind of forms in front of you, and you see as it has like big black voids where its face is. But the thing is like its eyes and its mouth are like rotating. So at times its eyes are above its mouth. Sometimes its mouth is beside its eyes. And it's really hard to tell, but it kind of just like walks towards you a few steps, and you see as like the eyes and the mouth kind of stop as the eyes are to the left of the mouth. Everybody roll on insight.
So they're short and they're humanoid? I wasn't getting the humanoid part or not.
Like they have arms and legs, yes.
But their
So
heads kind of rotate, their faces.
yeah, so when you see this happening, you have a distinct feeling that these things might not actually have necks that move so much as their faces that move. And this is a lot like a creature that's kind of tilting its head how a dog kind of looks at something where its head counts. Like these things are doing the same thing to you, or rather the one that kind of approached you. And more or less Ezekiel and Paris would kind of pick that up. Faint, you just see this creature kind of approaching a little bit, and it kind of becomes visual, but it's otherwise kind of looking towards you all, and it doesn't know what to make of what's going on, but it's at least allowing itself to be seen. And Danica is behind you all, just like giddy. She's just like shaking with excitement right now.
I'm gonna like. Oh, go ahead.
All right. I was going to say before we did the insight rolls, or next thing I was going to say was in your description of the face and the eyes moving around. Was I was going to say that still squatting down, I was going to lower my hood so they could see my face clearly, and then with a smile on my face, be tilting my head side to side, like in the same way you said, like a dog trying to understand a command. But I genuinely was going to say that before the insight roll, so I don't know if that's something we can do.
Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. They're kind of mimicking. It almost feels to you like they're mimicking you. Ezekiel, what was you thinking?
I'm gonna like reach back to my pack, and I have like my like cup that I always drink out of, like just a little metal cup, and I'm gonna sort of like gently just pull it to my side, and then I'll pull out my wineskin, and I'm just gonna pour like a little bit of beer, into the cup, and I'm gonna just sort of like usher it forward gently, like in front of me. We mean you no harm, little chalupa. Here, enjoy, drink.
So you're like handing it this cup with beer in it?
Like kind of setting it down in front of me, and then I'll maybe like just back up a little bit so it doesn't feel like intimidated.
Make a persuasion. So you see as the creature kind of moves forward, and it gets close to the entrance, but you see as it kind of like stops right at the edge of the snow, and it continues to kind of move its head in weird motions as it kind of like looks, but it seems to have stopped like right at the edge there, and it's just kind of looking at you, um, and then it kind of sits down just right at the edge of the snow, right at the edge of the door.
This is amazing. A breakthrough of modern science. I'll take a drink of my own wineskin.
As you do that, it like raises its hands in the same motion as like how you kind of like hold the nozzle and lift the high part. It does the same thing and kind of tilts its head back.
These things are quite interesting.
All right, I'm gonna like pull out a leather bit from my like pack, and inside is like some of the wolf meat, and I'll just break off like a little piece and eat it, and then I'll like break off a little piece and just kind of like toss it forward like a couple feet in front of it.
As you kind of like go to throw the meat towards it, it just like disappears.
Do not
The
be
creature
afraid.
just winks out.
My bad. I heard a few different things there. What were you thinking, Jamie?
The creature just winks out.
Yep. Pretty much like moments after the jerky kind of leaves Ezekiel's hand, you see as the creature disappears.
Maybe it felt threatened.
I'm gonna just sort of like giggle and laugh out loud in a friendly way.
Roll a charisma.
A 9.
You kind of just like chuckle, and you see as two of these creatures kind of materialize. One near the door, just kind of like peeking around the right side with its head upside down, and another one that's kind of sitting back near the. What was it? I think it was a plate on top of the knife, and it like kind of like leans its head back, and its mouth gets real big as it kind of like motions that it's like chuckling.
I smile at it and I give a little wave.
Waves back at you.
In that case, then I'm gonna pull out a ball bearing and I'll set that on the floor as well, sort of equidistant between me and it.
Danica's kind of looking over you all. I'm going to step outside.
Should be okay. I mean, they seem harmless. You should be safe. Just take it nice and slow and be nice and smiley, yeah?
Why are you going outside?
Because that's where we are.
Because they're nature creatures. They don't seem to want to come in here.
Oh, that makes sense. We'll go outside too then. Hopefully they won't get scared. They seem to be okay with us.
So she's just gonna step past you all as she kind of like looks down at the one that's near the door, and she just kind of like moves off to the side and kind of away from it, just keeping to the right side of the door sill as it's on the left side. And she kind of walks over to where they were sitting before and sits down with them.
What, is she actually with them or is she sitting by us?
I am assuming that you guys are still inside of the building. It is up to you guys to actually react.
Okay, I'll go outside as well. And sorry, I thought I was outside already. Yeah, I'll go outside as well.
Yeah, I thought we're kind of outside. Anyway.
Yeah,
okay.
that's where you guys have to describe these things. As far as I knew, you were inside when you set down the hammer as well as the ball bearing.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was doing it outside. Okay, fair enough. I'll go outside them.
Yeah, that's part of what I was trying to clear up when I said Ezekiel seemed to have stopped as he opened the door and saw them, which means he never actually went outside. And I didn't think anybody passed by him to go outside.
All right.
So what are y'all doing?
I'm gonna pull out another ball bearing then, and I'm gonna like roll it on the floor between my hands for a bit, and then I'll just sort of gently roll it towards one of them.
The one you roll it towards, is going to kind of like reach into its body, and it just seems to pull its hand out, and then it's going to kind of like do the same, like I assume kind of like a bowling motion, and you'll see it's kind of like a little bit of wind kind of rolls like a ball of snow, and it rolls in the same way the ball bearing did.
I'm gonna chuckle and clap, and then give like a thumbs up. And then I'm gonna say to Danica, "So, oh yeah, so what's the goal here? Are we just gonna observe them, or what? Are you gonna try and, you know, examine one later?"
I didn't really have anything planned. I was only slightly hoping that they existed, so this is pretty amazing.
Well, they seem friendly. Doesn't seem like you're in danger, so guess we can cross that one off. But to be honest with you, you probably need to take one back with you for proof, don't you? To validate your claims, but I kind of feel a bit cruel taking one of these, or at least trying to grab one. Don't think I want to do that.
I don't think it looks like that we can grab them.
Yeah, he could be right there. Then if we try and we fail, we'll scare him off.
What do y'all have in mind?
Bitch, where's my money? I'm happy to put a close to this quest thread if she pays us, basically. They seem interesting enough, but there's not really a whole lot we can do them at this point, I don't think.
Yeah, was this pretty much all she wanted, was to just like find them? Does she need some kind of like proof that they exist?
Well, she asked you all to bring her a Chwinga. So you guys have already kind of changed the parameters by asking her to come with you. If you guys don't have any other ideas, you can certainly move along if you'd like.
Well, we want one better, and we brought her to them.
Yeah, she's actually seen it in its native environment. That's what every scientist wants.
So you guys are welcome to leave.
Not without being paid.
You've not completed the quest.
What the hell was the quest?
To bring her a Chwinga.
Hey Danica, I know the quest was to bring you a Chinga, but we've done one better and brought you to the Chingas, so, you know.
Yes, and the idea of bringing one to me is that I would already have it to study. These are in the wild. I can't actually do anything with this other than continue to study them. If you can think of a way that they will follow us, or that you can trap one, that might change things. If you don't have that in mind, I think I'll just stay here and see what I can do on my own. It's a good thing we're best friends. Otherwise, I feel like you might regret having asked me to come along.
Sounds to me like you're changing the deal and you're trying to, you know, pull out on us here. That's not something best friends would do.
Might be why I don't have any best friends. Ah!
Roll for initiative. No, I'm joking.
Does anybody have any creative ideas what you'd like to do with the Chwingas? Otherwise, you guys can move on.
No, I think the Chwingas are all hers. She can have them. They can be her invisible friends.
I will remove a couple strands of my hair and braid them into a tiny lasso and attempt to lasso a Chinga.
Aren't they invisible again?
No, you can see them right now. You can make a dexterity check.
Perhaps a tiny little Chinga hair trap. One of the ones with the stick, and when they come close, they step in it, and then the little hairs wrap around their tiny little Chinga toes, and bam, gotcha! Ha-ha!
Yeah, I like it. Or I've got a hooded lantern. Could use that as like a cage or something somehow.
The Chinga is mine!
As you throw out the little lasso, it just kind of disappears, and a little flower sprouts up, and your little hair lasso kind of circles around the flower, and it's standing right next to it, and kind of like smiles and claps.
What's smiling and clapping?
The Chwinga.
All right, I thought you meant the lasso was doing that.
I pluck the flower and I put it behind my ear.
That was amazing. These creatures truly are marvelous. Did they ever drink the beer or eat the wolf?
They ran from the wolf when it was thrown. I didn't gather that you set the beer outside of the building.
These creatures seem awfully shaky, Danica. Assuming that you want one of them captured so you can befriend it and continue to study it over time, no?
I'm not sure if capturing is really an option. They seem a little bit too quick for all of us. Perhaps, though, befriending them is the solution.
I'm not sure exactly how to befriend these creatures. They look like they ate and drank, but I could perhaps take my blanket and fashion it into a cast net of sorts and attempt to snag one that way. But I'm afraid that we would scare them away if we don't succeed. Perhaps just some more time with these creatures, and we can coax them into friendship. Maybe something shiny we could show to them. A coin, perhaps. I'll pull out a copper, see if they look like they care.
You see another one kind of reaches into itself, and as it pulls its hand out, it forms a little snowflake in its fingers.
Absolutely marvelous creatures. They clearly have the ability to influence nature and some sort of magic as well. What are these creatures? Fae or?
They're elementals. They're nature.
Well, how will you further study them if we cannot capture one? Will you be able to befriend them and get them to go with you? Do you have a destination in mind? Are you trying to take one back to your laboratory miles from here? I'm curious. I'd rather tie up this loose end if possible.
I don't have any time constraints, so if they are here, I will be here until I can find a way to have them follow me. Part of why I was hoping to recruit you all is that you would do this for me, and that's what I would pay for.
Alright, so, out of game, I mean, are you just trying to get out of paying us for this, or do we need to do something further to complete the quest? What's going on here?
Do you all feel any way that you can continue to kind of romance these little creatures? Otherwise, you can certainly try to ask Danica to pay something. But in the long run, no, you guys did something creative by inviting her to come along. But me solving the quest for you doesn't really give her any reason to pay you, because effectively it's going to happen off camera that she solves the quest. What this is purely a chance to get some gold by exploring the 10 towns, and while you come across Chwingas, see if you can find a way to actually figure out what they're all about.
Well, they seem nature loving, but I haven't really got anything nature based on me at all. And we did have a druid with us, but not anymore. So we're kind of shit out of luck with creating natural items to coax them with.
You guys
Anything
have
else to do?
snow all around you. What have they been doing? They are mirroring everything that you guys do.
All right, I'll make a very small snowman in the snow.
You can make a persuasion.
Alright, so the answer to my question is that there's something still to be done. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I just want you all to try to find ways that you can charm these creatures, basically, and see if you can kind of find a way to get them to appreciate you. If you guys are done with this little group here, you can certainly walk away from it. But that's part of why I say I don't think Danica has a reason to simply pay you for having found that they exist, because you also now know that they can't be captured.
We don't have a large cage or anything to put them in either.
Every time you guys have moved towards these things quickly, they've disappeared. Why would a cage change that in the least bit?
I'm just saying, like, how are we supposed to catch one and give it to her? There's not an end state here that we can get to.
Well, I guess catching one, but I can't think of a way we catch them. I mean, I don't know. I build a tiny snowman inside of the hooded lantern with the door open, so they go in to go and play with it, and then when they're playing with it, or I roll a small ball of snow into the hooded lantern to get them to go in, and then when they're in there, I slam the door shut.
I don't think we'll be able to trick or catch one of these creatures. I think we need to coax it with kindness, befriend them, and perhaps then we can.
If you create a snowman inside of a lamp, you see as it walks into the lamp, when you close the door, it walks into the snowman, and then it's standing at your feet inside of the snow.
Yeah, so we can't catch them, then they're gonna be coaxed.
They are nature elementals.
I'm not familiar with nature elementals. Sorry, I don't know anything about them.
All I'm saying is they are nature creatures. Like, think of things that you might do that are natural. The snowman was a great idea. Trying to trap it in metal, not really effective.
So, I'm confused about the snowman. Did the snowman basically move?
No, it was just interested in the snow and seeing what you could do with it. They mimic
Right.
people.
So Josh made a snowman. Did the Twinga make a snowman?
Tringa walked up to the snowman, and when he tried to capture it, it walked into the snowman and disappeared from inside of the lantern.
Okay.
Like, you guys can say, we'll spend the next few hours out here hanging out with them in the snow, trying to play with them in nature. That can be a solution for you guys to narrate what you were trying to do if you don't have anything in particular in mind. And that is effectively one solution to this. But in the long run, you guys, if you have creative options that you can think of that are just out of anything that I could plan, there's a lot of ways that I'm sure you can think of things that you can do that are essentially interesting to a nature creature that has, on some level, it's mimicking what you all do. They're sitting here playing tea, but they're playing outside. They won't go into the building, but they're playing with human products. They find the snowman interesting, but they don't want to play with it like inside of a lamp.
All right, I'm gonna spend some time putting like the snow together, like packing it up and building a small structure that resembles one of those like elaborate cat condos with like a slide and like a little twisty way they can like climb up. I'll take like some pieces of like rope and put like some little swingy bits on it. I'll like cast light on like the tip of like a little stick sticking out of the top of it, so it's like a little star on a Christmas tree. And I'll just basically like waste some time like creating a weird little snow world for the Twingas.
I'll help out once I figure out what he's doing.
Do a dexterity check for me, Ezekiel.
It's like the Disney World of Twingaland. Success.
And then do a charisma with advantage.
And with this final cast of light, the Twingas will be forever happy and our allies.
So one of them is going to kind of walk around in it, and as you do the last little touch for light, It's going to kind of like jump back a little bit off of this little cat condo. And as it kind of like slowly floats down towards the snow, it's just going to kind of like run up to you and kind of like tap your knee. Roll, I believe, a D12. Fuck, a D14. My bad. Psych. Can you roll a D14 /R space D14? As it taps you, runs up to your knee and kind of taps you, there's just like a little thread of silver that kind of grows up on the outside of your clothing. And as it slowly like extends up over your cold weather gear, it eventually kind of reaches towards your right hand. When it touches your right hand, your entire right mitten glows silver, and then it just kind of like absorbs into your hand and you look normal again.
How strange. My little friend has imbued me with some sort of weird power. I don't know what it does, but I feel different.
Does he look different?
I just explained what happened.
Right, but like it absorbed in him, and then so he looks like the same now again, right?
Yes. The final thing I said was once it disappears and absorbs into his hand, he looks exactly the same as he did.
But the actual Twinga, like, absorbed into me?
No, just it just touched you. And then
Ring.
did you see that actual little message that I sent you on
Oh,
Discord?
yeah, I see it, yeah. Very strange. Strange indeed. When the moment is right, perhaps this feeling will reveal itself.
Danica just, like, for the first time, she kind of, like, stops shaking with excitement. And you see as she's extremely intrigued with the moment. That seems to be a big change of things. Most intriguing. Ezekiel, walk to the north side of this area.
Of course. I will do this.
So when you start to walk away, assuming you just walk like to the northwest essentially, one of the Tringas kind of hops up on your back and it seems to be riding on your shoulder right now.
I have befriended these creatures somehow. I will name this one Cupcake. He is my special friend. How far do you want me to walk?
You're fine to come back. That seems to be a most interesting solution. Harris, Faint, any ideas where you can do anything to try to charm one of these Trinkas?
I've been thinking. I genuinely don't, I just don't think that my character is very nature based, and also I've been looking through my inventory and I can't see anything that is natural at all. I know I've tried the thing with the snow and building the snowman and stuff, but I'm not sure how I could use that to create a situation in which one either comes with me or is allowing itself to be captured. So I'm out of ideas. I'll be honest with you.
So Danica will just look over you all, and she's going to reach into her pocket. She'll take a little collection of coins out of a little purse and hand them over for you all. You guys can take 25 gold for the party. And she'll kind of just say her goodbyes to you all. Thank you all very much for your help. I may indeed reference you when I publish. Thank you.
Well, thank you to you too. It's been quite the adventure, and still can't quite believe they're real. But best of luck with them. Looking forward to being cited in your research, and be good to these little things. They seem quite nice.
Yes, that was quite unexpected. I did not think that we would see any such little creatures.
And thank you very much for your payment. Appreciate you keeping your word.
So what have you all got in mind as you leave this area?
Guess we head back towards the execution.
See who is getting executed.
Or see who was executed.
So you all are just off one of the main roads. If you walk through the actual building, the actual entrance was on one of the main roads that leads towards the fire. The glow is certainly much less at this point. There's nothing actually visible like over the actual houses. But after you all walk a short few hundred feet, at some point you do start to pick up the fire itself was effectively on that kind of like point between the east way and the actual path that you are on. And it's not long before you all kind of get within view. There's not too many people left around at this point. It's probably close to the end of the day, where you expect the aura might be disappearing anytime within the next hour or few hours. So you can kind of guess it's somewhere between like late 4 o'clock into like maybe it's like 7ish. It's hard to keep track of those things, but you guys are somewhere around those points.
They had spoken of an inn that we could stay. Perhaps we should secure rest for the evening.
Yeah, about what time would it be? Sorry, I guess it wouldn't be that too late unless the Chwangas thing went on for a long time.
It did indeed go on for a long time. You guys expect it to be towards the end of the day. From what you can gather, it's anywhere from like say 4:30 to about 7:30.
Guess it got slightly darker.
It doesn't get darker until the aura goes out. It's an on or off thing.
Alright, then in that case, I think your idea is pretty good. We should try and find an inn. Maybe we can ask a few questions there as well.
While we are here in a large town, also, I would like to seek out a blacksmith if possible. I think we'll have the best bet here, and assuming we will stay for a day or so, I may need to have something made.
Oh yeah? Got anything specific in mind?
I was hoping to secure a small amount of platinum and perhaps have a ring crafted. Or, well, if I stay another day, perhaps I could show you.
Well, you're really staying true to the theme of ominous sayings around here. Or was that more foreboding or mysterious? Can't quite make my mind up.
No, mysterious. It would mean you no harm. It would actually be quite the difference. But again, it will take some time, and I would need to find a skilled blacksmith that could supply and melt some platinum. And as a matter of fact, I don't even have quite enough yet anyway, but I'm getting close, so.
Oh yeah? Well, I've got a bit of gold. I can always swap that for some platinum for you if it helps.
Perhaps. I don't want to spend all our riches on something that may not even work, but I suspect that if I could secure 100 gold worth of platinum and have a couple rings made, that as my skills progress, I may be able to use them for something very valuable. Although, to tell you the truth, Faint, would probably not benefit you much at all. It would be more to more to help out Paris.
Well, definitely sounds very interesting. And out of interest, how much did that crazy bitch give us for finding her little things for her?
25 gold, so roughly 8 gold and a couple silver each. I have nearly enough to have one ring made already. I don't expect to just be able to have both of them right away, but would need both for the spell. But I just thought that if I seek out a blacksmith and started the process, that, when the time was right, it would be ready for us.
What are you trying to make?
A couple of platinum rings. Again, my abilities are still far from able to cast the spell, but maybe closer than we think. And there is. I have read about things in the spell book, and one of the things I'm building up to that I hope to be able to do requires 2 platinum rings worth 50 silver, 2 platinum rings worth 50 gold each.
And what happens when you do it? Are they consumed or do you keep them?
No, they do not go away. You don't lose the rings. And I'm honestly not even 100% sure what it will do, but by placing one of the rings on my own finger and on the finger of another warrior, we are able to channel our energy together. It's a strange link that is formed between us. The recipient of the other ring becomes stronger and more durable at the cost of my own health. So while they appear to be almost invulnerable in nature, I suffer the ill effects that would correspond with the benefits that they gain. But again, I've never even seen this practice before. I only know of it and have read of it. It's something I'm building towards, and perhaps it's far out of my reach and I am just being ambitious. I do mean to leave soon anyway, so perhaps it is a waste of time.
Yeah, could be right, but you know, not including the 25 gold we just got, I've still got 20 gold myself, so if you need any help, you let me know. You've been very helpful so far. Plus, you gave me that crossbow, so recompensing that.
Of course, I don't want to deplete our collection, but with my share of the gold we just took, I have 43 gold and quite a bit of silver as well. So this place is not that expensive. I just thought that if we secured a blacksmith, perhaps we could line it up, and maybe I have some goods to sell as well. So perhaps we're not as far away as we think. But even then, even with the items, I still don't possess the power or the skill yet. But in time, I'm. You guys are growing on me. I've enjoyed our travel so far, and the more I think about it, the more I realize I have almost nothing to return to. My temple has been destroyed. My family is all dead, including my brother, of course, rest his soul. And I fear that when I return, I will just be hunted myself. So I may stay here longer than I intended. And to tell you the truth, you are my greatest friends, and I sort of enjoyed the cold. So
Well, I'm sorry to hear all that, and does make a lot of sense why you'd be here, and it's completely up to you. But if you wanted to stay with us, you'd be more than welcome to. I consider you and Paris here friends myself. So on the back of that, if I can help with my gold, I will. It's not doing us much else good round here at the moment anyway, is it?
of
Shouldn't
course,
shouldn't we find a jeweler if you're trying to make platinum rings?
yes, perhaps a jeweler is better than a blacksmith. I was picturing them needing to. Well, I suppose it depends how we get the platinum. If it's coins, they will probably need to be melted down and cast into just a basic ring shape. But perhaps a skilled jeweler could fashion them as well. I'm not sure, but we could look into it and find out. I've not had much use for a blacksmith in my days, nor a jeweler for that matter. But one or the other, I could see a rationale for either.
Well, there has to be a shop area somewhere in this town.
Yes, indeed. I imagine that if we found a jeweler or a blacksmith, either could point us in the direction of the other if that was where we need to be. So,
All right, well, it looks like a fairly large town, and we walked past a good section of it. Did we see any area that looked like it would be shops instead of residential?
What has been pretty typical here is that things don't have signage. People who live in these places know where they're going. Otherwise, the buildings outside are pretty austere. So you've kind of walked through places that it probably leans towards you're in residential areas. If you expect to just kind of go into buildings, you may find the best places will tend to be towards the actual docks. Otherwise, on a regular basis here in Icewind Dale, knocking on doors, speaking to people, speaking to guards when you see them is the way to find out places. But assuming that you've kind of just been standing still, you guys are still near the town hall. Assuming you've been walking to a particular place that you have in mind, you guys can probably have gotten to that place. But at present, you guys were basically leaving where you left Danica and heading towards the burning.
yes, I would think that if we wanted to ask around, we could probably head to the town hall and probably find some information, including what I have just spoken of. Alternatively, I think, assuming that the docks are the main entrance and exit to this area, I would probably imagine that that's where the businesses would be situated, as their goal is to get the money of those traveling in before they leave. So, either of those, I think, is a viable option.
So are y'all going into the town hall, or are you walking to a different place?
I think if we're already close to the town hall, we could pop in and kind of see what's going on there.
So stepping into the town hall, it's a pretty large building. You can see that it probably is able to house like pretty large meetings. It's got like a bunch of benches kind of pushed to the walls of what is an otherwise like a long building, much longer than it is wide by probably about 3 to 1. Inside of it, there is a group of folk who are towards the back. One of which is wearing large, thick, like animal furs, and then another who's wearing kind of like a blend of like animal fur with a armor that actually shows the town crest, and then a few others that are basically cloaked in deep animal furs but still show signs of the very typical soldier garb that you all would have seen from the entrance. But effectively, I think like 5 people are up at the far side of the hall. They all kind of look up towards you all when you enter, but otherwise they don't really make any mention once you actually like step in and the door's closed.
I think we would like go up and approach them.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
They more or less continue their conversation. They seem to just be discussing some issues of the town. How do you actually want to greet them or more fully start a conversation with them?
I'd just sort of wave and then go towards and be like,
Hello, nice to meet you. My name's Faint. We're new to 10 towns and just trying to work our way around and things like that. Is this the town hall?
It is indeed, Faint. Welcome.
It's a pleasure. What's your name, sorry?
Indra. And where are you all visiting from? Where have you come from?
We've come from Honeymead most recently, but we're actually new to Icewind Dale overall. But yeah, we actually just met someone. It's one of your town's guard entrance into town and said we should come and speak to you funnily enough, so that's mighty convenient.
Do you intend to lie to me in saying Honeymead, or are you new to Icewind Dale that you mistake Honeymead and Goodmead?
yeah, I did it by accident. Yeah, good mead, sorry.
was wondering about
Excellent.
that.
It is understandable. They deal in Honeymead. They exclusively try to say that it is good.
Yes, good bit of branding that to be fair. Kind of lets you know what's on the tin straight away.
And excuse me, we are in an interesting moment for our town. What can we help you with? My apologies, I've spaced out in what you were asking for.
Could you explain the interesting moment? Something about a burning?
Yes, we have captured a wizard who has been here in town for the last 10 days. He has sent many of our people out on adventures into the tundra looking for a cabin of sorts. And apparently he has killed 4 of them. We believe he has more out searching still. But upon recognizing that he has been murdering these people in our town, we solved the criminal problem. You might have seen the remaining ashes of what was moments ago a quite glorious bonfire to celebrate his life.
Sounds like he had it coming. I fear for the travelers that he sent out into the wilderness. Has there been a search party to look for them?
Very few are willing to venture deep into the tundra. We hope that those adventurers who are willing to travel to such places are also able to find their way back. And it would seem that at least most of those he sent have been able to manage that. I don't believe any of our guards, nor any of our local civilians, are willing to brave such things beyond the ones that he has already hired, and those who returned has dispatched.
Is there any knowledge of where they have went to search for this place? Perhaps along the way we could pay some mind to it or look for them ourselves.
Excuse me, what was your name?
My name? I am Ezekiel.
Ezekiel, I am Indra. I appreciate your concern, but as we have begun to gather, it seems that those who have gone out looking for this cabin were killed for the information of where they were searching. I do not believe anybody who has made it back has done so alive, and I believe that was Zan's purpose, was to remove those who he shared knowledge with. It seems the way of wizards, users of magic, seem to hoard their knowledge in this way. It's a type.
Interesting. So he sounds like sent these adventurers off into the wilderness to search for the cabin, but killed them if they had any knowledge of it. Do you think that he found it? Did you interrogate him before his untimely death?
He served his own means well enough that while we attempted interrogation, he kept himself well silent even beyond burning. It would seem he has found what he was looking for. We were able to catch him trying to leave the city, as he was trying to gather supplies. And we all believe that this is fitting with the description that he has been searching for something while he has been staying with us. And perhaps the last of those who was murdered came back with the information he needed, at which point he started to collect for himself to start the excursion to this cabin.
Interesting. It's a good thing that you stopped him when you did. It sounds like he was very close to completing his plan.
You seem most intrigued in our business. Are you all the sort who is working for those who they may be able to help? Do you go on perilous adventures?
Yes.
Sounds interesting to me.
Yes, I must agree with my comrades. We have done quite a few exciting things since we have been here, and always looking for some direction. And while I do have some questions for you about your city here, and we are in not necessarily a hurry to leave, perhaps if the winds would take us somewhere, we would gladly go.
We have lost more than one crew of our fishermen in the last 10 days. Many of them seem to be traveling up into Lake Dineshire and have failed to return. The third such of these has left yesterday and did not come back. We are just discussing this here, and he'll kind of motion you all forward towards the other three gentlemen, like the other three soldiers who are clearly talking to the person who's sitting like just in like furs. And as you kind of move forward, and Imdra kind of invites you into that conversation, you'll see that they are all discussing over a map. And they basically have like 3 locations marked off on kind of the east coast of Lake Dineshire. And as they kind of invite you into the, or as Imdra invites you into the conversation, you see as the one who clearly is in the most authority kind of stands up and he reaches out to shake hands with you all and introduce himself as Daneth Whalen. And he would call himself the Speaker of Easthaven. And he'll get all of your names. Like nobody's trying to hide their name.
Nope, I'll just be honest. I mean,
So-
Faint's a nickname, but Fane's my real name. I'll just give him Faint anyway.
After you all just reply with your names, he kind of sits back down, and Imdra just kind of turns. Adventurers new to the town, Deneth. Perhaps we can send them. And he'll kind of look towards you all after that and point out that these are the 3 locations that they've gathered these fishing groups seem to like to fish. And after a few moments, they kind of just speak with you all. We have a boat that we could send you out with. If you would be willing to investigate, see if we can find any of our lost civilians. Perhaps bring them, perhaps bring their boats, any information that you might be able to respond, and come back to Easthaven with any information about their lives. Would you be willing to venture into the lake with such a mission?
I don't understand the connection of the cabin with the lake.
There is no connection.
This sounds like something that we would be interested in. I'm curious. Before we were to go, I have a small need of my own. I wish to obtain a small amount of platinum and have some rings made. Is there a jeweler or blacksmith that I could drop this off with? In the event that we do not return after some 10 day, you could claim this as your own, assuming something fell us.
You have coin that you wish to exchange for platinum, and then you would take that to the jeweler?
Yes, exactly. I have gold and some silver. I'm searching for roughly 100 gold coin worth of platinum to have a couple of rings made. And I'll sort of like look over at Paris, just to kind of like give the impression that like maybe we're having them made for us or something, so it's not like weird that I want these rings.
A wave.
We do not have any particular jeweler in the town, but at the stables they do indeed have a smith who might be capable of forming a simple loop for you. If you have the coin here now, we can most certainly exchange 10 platinum.
Yes, I would. Yes, of course. I just, if you would just give us a moment to gather it up together. I did not think that it would. I thought that it would be difficult to find here in the wilderness, but so between you guys, I have. I don't know if you want to spend your money on this, but I have 45 gold myself right now. 40. Yeah, 45 gold myself. So it would be 55 gold between you two to make the rings, plus whatever we have to pay him.
I've got 20 gold, 55 silver actually. So effectively, what's that? 25 gold, and then whatever it was that we just got paid from Danica as well.
So another like 8.5, something like that. So what about you, Jamie? What do you have?
I have 38 combined gold, silver, copper. So yeah, I don't have any need for gold, just pretty. So sure, if you want some of it, you can have it. How much you need?
Yes, it would serve us well. Excellent. I'm very.
Hold on a moment. I'm sorry to interrupt. Have Ezekiel and Paris added the 8 gold from the 25?
I added in 8 gold, 3 silver, and 3 copper.
I added 8 gold and 3 silver. I did not do 3 copper.
Yeah, so Faint, add 8 gold, 3 silver, and 3 copper. Or 4 copper. Paris, you can add 3 or 4 copper. But when you guys split stuff like that, you need to make sure to add it at the same time as the actual group.
I think since those two did it and I didn't, I must have been the one on the wrong there, but no problem. So that leaves me with 33 gold and 8 silver. So I can give you the 33 gold if you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's no in the wrong about it. Like, it's better for you all to split things right away. But it's just actually making sure to do it so it doesn't disappear to memories. So I think that puts you all where you can certainly afford to exchange the gold. Effectively, inside of these places, when you guys go to a town hall, you can pretty much exchange any money that you would like. You will notice when you actually enter this town hall in particular that they actually have signs on almost every single wall and next to the doors that you entered into, like you'll see when you leave, signs that say, "Guard your purse." But otherwise, yeah, you guys can exchange that. So if you figure out, what is it? You said you had 45 on Ezekiel, and then basically like, what would that be? Like 32 from each of the others? No, that'd be over. So
Yeah, so if Ezekiel does 40,
29.
and then, yeah, if Ezekiel does 40, and then Jamie and I do 30 each, and then what's
Yeah,
left
so that
over out
sounds good.
Yeah,
If-
and then what's left over out of me and Jamie, we can pay for things until Ezekiel gets some gold back, and then also if the jeweler requires a fee, between Jamie and I we can cover that.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'd say do that. If you guys all subtract 30 gold, Ezekiel, you track 40. And what's the actual spell that you're looking for here? Or is this an actual like class feature?
No, it's not till next level, and I gotta look in the thing. I just randomly was looking at the cleric spells and saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty dope."
Or yeah, as soon as you actually see that, make sure to actually let me know so I can try to familiarize myself with it. Because I'm trying to think what platinum rings are used for, and
I'm gonna look it up right now. And it's actually like more for Jamie. It's pretty dope though.
sweet cornetto.
Yeah, like
Um,
like a straight up savage.
So Imdra will go into the actual kind of like just like a back area where they have like a locked vault and come back shortly afterwards, and he has the platinum on him, so he'll see as you all kind of collect everything together. And among the things that he will effectively ask of you is, if you are heading off to explore this loss of life for us. Would it behoove you to have us keep this safe? Or do you hope to immediately commission such things?
Well, if it is possible, I would like to have it made before we go. I imagine that the loss of life has a time limit on it. The sooner we go, the better. But I imagine we would probably not leave until the morning. So, depending on the status of the jeweler or uh, what was it, stable? The stable worker. I'm not sure how long it would take to hammer a couple rings out, but I imagine with a small punch and a couple minutes, it would be easy enough.
Warding bond?
Yep, I was just looking it up. It's warding bond. Yep.
Oh well, I believe the actual creation of rings is simple enough that Askelos, who serves all of our stable needs, will be able to manage. It should be, as far as I understand, a rather simple measure of heating this as well as forming it then into loops. Your particular ring sizes, and he kind of like looks at your hands, will be perhaps the most important aspect to have him measure for you. Other than that, I believe it is all a rather simple procedure. They may not look absolutely beautiful, but it is the ceremony that matters most when you are wedding the one you love.
Yes, of course. Like you said, the appearance of them matters little, but it's the purpose they serve. I am very excited. I appreciate this. I did not think it would be so easy to have this done, but I'm glad we stopped in here. Fate has truly led us here for a reason.
And he'll kind of, let's see. I think he'll kind of step towards one of the doors and kind of give everything a look outside. It is approaching the end of the day, but I believe if you were interested in trying to access this immediately, you would be able to find Escalos at the stables. Likely, if he has not finished his work, until slightly after the arising of the moon. You should have enough time this evening.
Excellent. Then I believe that is our course of action, as this would keep us safe on our journey and allow us much more strength that we may find these fishers and these men and bring them back safely.
Well, perhaps then, if you all are interested in going about your needs, and hopefully would be willing to assist us in ours, you can return here early, before the midday, and perhaps we will be able to discuss what we have, what we need, and what we know in further detail.
That seems agreeable, and I'll look back at everybody else. And if you could provide us with just a basic map that we could take with us as well, would perhaps aid us in finding them. Their favorite fishing spots that you had pointed out, as well as some sort of identification that we would know if we find them, alive or dead, unfortunately, if that is the case.
Oh yeah, you guys have the actual map. I feel like Lynn gave that to you. I'm not entirely sure, but you guys have the actual map. It is part of this home screen that you guys can look into in your handouts. But in general, I don't actually want to pitch the mission to you all because we are effectively at the end of the day, and I want it to be fresh when I give it to you. Not hey, here's what you got to do, and a week later ask you to do it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
All right, back to this ring thing. Reading it, it looks like I wear the ring, and any damage I take, you also take.
Yeah, we both wear a ring, and then I cast the spell. And then as long as you're within 60 feet of me during the spell's duration, like for 1 hour, you gain resistance to all damage, which means you take only 50% of what you would normally take, and then I take the other 50%. But you also gain +1 to your armor, and then +1 to all your saving throws.
Yeah, so if you should theoretically, one, take less damage. What damage you do take, it's effectively the same amount of damage. It's just split between the two of you instead of only on you. And it basically allows him to kind of push you forward and him stay further back.
Okay, that's not how I'm reading it, but that's cool. So basically, if I wear the ring, then I'm gonna get, it says +1 bonus to AC and saving throws and resistance, like to acid, or I guess to
Well, the resistance doesn't actually do anything but sends half of the damage to him. That's the point of the resistance. You're going to take half of the damage rolled, but 100% of the damage is taken because he's absorbing that same resisted damage. But again, it's resisted for half, and he's taking the other half.
okay.
But
So,
he
like,
takes
you-
less damage.
When Goderic used to go into a rage, he would only take half damage. So you'll be like that. You'll be like a raging barbarian. You only take half as much damage. But instead of the damage going away, the excess damage, it goes to me. So I actually get hurt when you get hit. But then when I heal, like you or myself, etc., I can heal back away like some of that damage. So, and then also you would gain +1 armor, so you're harder to hit on top of that, and then +1 to saving throws. So like you're more likely to not get hurt, as well as transferring half your damage to me.
Yeah, it's like a 5% to take less damage. And then in the long run, damage is also rounded down. So when you guys do take damage, it's already going to be perhaps a little bit less. And then what is it, like level 6, the life cleric, whenever you heal, you also heal yourself. So your healing qualities go up by actually making sure that you are missing health.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not like game changing, like, oh, this is going to break the game, but it makes the whole party like a little stronger. I mean, usually, too, when somebody's getting like fucked up, usually one person gets fucked up really bad. So this kind of gives us the ability to split it between two of us so that we're much more likely to survive as a party, I feel like.
That'd be good.
And if you got 2 pairs of rings, you could even give Faint a pair as well. Like one of them. So you would wear 2 different platinum rings, and each of them would wear a platinum ring, and you could then cast the spell on either part of your party.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
we wear 3 sets of rings, and then the damage goes through all 3 of us somehow.
well, I can only concentrate on the spell one at a time, so I'll only ever be able to have 2 of us involved. And I figure Faint typically like stays back, and you're definitely more of like the tankier of the party. So I don't know. It's a pretty cool spell. So we'll see.
It is.
Does it
Yeah.
actually say that it requires concentration, though?
My
I
plan,
don't
by
think
the
this is a concentration spell.
my plan, by the way, is still to go Soul Knife Rogue, so that once I hit level 3, I'll be hybrid melee and ranged. So I'll be melee as much as I am ranged, but I still think it would make more sense for Jamie to have that split. I definitely think it would be a bad idea to be, if it was possible, to be bonded to more than one person at once, because then you can't control your flow of stuff coming into you. Might get too hurt too quickly.
I'm not saying to bond yourself to multiple people like all the time. I'm saying that if he needs to save somebody's life, and one person being attacked is not the monk, having other people with the sets on them. Like, I mean, if you had 6 people in your party, I could see Ezekiel with a hand that is wearing 5 platinum rings, and then all of you wearing a single platinum ring, so he can then cast the spell on any person, and it's not limited to the one who has the ring. That's what I'm saying. is that there's
once I get the spell and whatever, I could get a third ring. Faint could wear the ring, and then if any one of you is like getting fucked up or about to be in a situation like that, I can basically link with whoever it is. Yeah, that's pretty
no.
dope.
I think the ring always has. You always have to get 100 gold worth of rings. Like it's 2 rings, 4 rings, 6 rings, 8 rings, 10 rings.
All right, because it's like a pair. I get what you're saying, but yeah, regardless, yeah. Once if the moment is right and we have another 100 gold to spend or whatever, yeah, that definitely makes sense.
It'll only take us like a day to get 100 gold.
It's taken us like 2 months to get this much.
Acquiring gold seems like it's something difficult until you actually get it, and then you have a shitload.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where it's like when you're low level, 100 gold seems like out of reach, and then once you're higher level, you're like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this 800 gold that I have.
And that's exactly it. Like when you get gold, you get a shitload of it. The fact of the matter is when you walk away from a quest like Goodmead, you guys walked away from gold. There's a certain level of you actually have to accomplish the quests to gain the gold. And not all of them are easy, but we will kind of see how everything turns out because that's literally how you will gain gold. Effectively, by the time you guys are level 5 here, though, there should be no sense of needing gold. You should pretty much be able to buy anything that is essentially available within Icewind Dale. And that's kind of what it means when you become like a regional hero, is it's like, yeah, this region no longer has anything of value that we can buy. And that's usually when you're just stacked.
Yeah, so I guess if we're going to wrap or whatever, are we going to wait till next session to do the actual stable part, or are we like going through that without the RP faction?
Unless there's any particular need to roleplay it, I don't necessarily think that you have to. That's perfectly well up to you whether you actually want to roleplay something involving the actual creation of the rings.
No, not necessarily. I'm okay with like thinking that we dropped it off basically, and then we're like getting ready to secure a place to sleep for the night, and then in the morning we'd pick it up and go to the start off on the fishing quest, like next session. Is that what you guys were kind of thinking?
Sure.
Works for me. Yeah, there's no need to act it out, is there? It's pretty simple exchange of platinum for ring, and then I guess we can say, I suppose we're gonna go and find the inn and stay in the inn, haven't we, and stuff. But I was gonna say we could have picked the rings up in the morning if you wanted to work on them overnight or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. I would imagine at some point in time they're probably going to be like to Jamie, like, man, you've got some serious sausage fingers for how small you are. They're awfully thick, stubby.
What?
And yours are very bony.
I mean, it's not my toes. I have these big feet.
Yeah, I don't know. I just picture like hobbits or halflings in general have like short little like nubby fingers and toes.
Yeah, I think it probably makes sense that you would get charged probably like 110 gold. So 100 platinum you guys have. So like if you mark off another 10 gold between you all, I think that would probably satisfy the actual purchase. It looks like amulets are 5 gold for the purchasing. And I think that's pretty simple to call an amulet a ring. And then the custom aspect of it is the fact that they are not providing the material. You are doing that. As far as the actual meeting goes, I think it's perfectly acceptable that you guys have dropped it off. They sized you. Again, you're going to a stable master. So it's somebody who works to make like horseshoes, but they have a fully functional like crucible and like forge. So as far as actually managing everything, I don't think there's any reason to assume that that's a problem. And I don't see any reason in particular that they would not kind of rush the idea that for an extra hour's work tonight, they can make 10 gold.
All right, well, I can come up with 5.
I marked off 5 already, so if you guys can just do 5 between you, that's perfect.
I've only got 3 gold left, so I'll do all 3, and then if you want to do the other 2, Jamie.
I think Jamie said she already did 5, so if you keep your 3 faint, I feel like that'll be perfectly fine.
Alright, cool, do that then.
110 gold, and all we got was these stupid rings.
Yeah, as long as the group's not fighting against each other, like, loot should always be party loot.
Well, we have enough gold between us to like get a decent meal, you know.
Yeah, and we may still have a little bit to go anyway, because I still need to level up to 3 anyway. So, but I mean, I honestly thought this was going to be sort of like a quest to even like get the rest of the money and like have it made. So it worked out better than I thought, honestly.
No, you had the exact right idea. Walking into Easthaven, this is one of the 3 towns that you can actually accomplish something like this. If you had asked somebody in Caer Dineval or Koenig, you probably would have been shit out of luck. Like Caer Koenig, they have next to no wealth, so they probably can't even exchange money. If they can exchange anything, it's kind of the thing, like they can deal with silver and copper. But yeah, I feel like that's like you already solved the big issue by waiting to be in a big city when you actually ask this.
Yeah, I mean, this town definitely looks much larger than the other ones.
Yeah, I think you all would be able to gather like from them. This population is just below like 1,000 people at any given point. Their last census, like a year ago, was at about 800 people.